it happened. Roma have gone out of the Europa League to Lyon. They were 1 goal away from qualifying for the next round. Unfortunately, Roma loses to Lyon 5-4 in aggregate, and they really suffer from that first leg, conceding 4 goals.
I'm just sick of this. I don't even know what else to put it. It kills me. I feel like we were saying this just the other day when Roma were playing Porto and they got demoted to the Europa League. And now they can't even progress against Lyon, which they're favorites to win the whole competition. It just kills me. It's annoying.
Only one Italian team is left in Europe. Juventus is the only one. And I think that it's just been a terrible, terrible, terrible year. And I think apart from, I tweeted this earlier, I said, apart from Napoli and Sassuolo, no one else has a fucking excuse. 0 excuses for what's been put on this field. Fiorentina completely annihilated themselves. They crumbled.
They killed themselves.
Roma, same thing. This Lyon team, I don't care what you say about them. They are not better than Roma. In my opinion, maybe the first leg, there was too many mistakes. But even today, Roma were the better team. But they still can't get through. There's such a mental block with our Italian teams. With our Italian teams. I'm not just even going to say Roma. Because Fiorentina did the same thing.
Inter, look at
Inter too, they lost the freaking beer. But that was before De Boer or whatever. But how can we allow this to happen? To have the final 8 teams in the Europa League are not that much better than the Italian teams that we freaking have in our league. And it's sickening to watch. It's sickening.
And yeah, you can say, oh, whatever, the referee called it offsides. It was against Roma or whatever. That goal should have counted. But at the end of the day...
For El Shaarawy you're talking about, right?
For El Shaarawy. But at the end of the day, Roma's doing this to themselves.
I agree with you. And
it kills me to say, I have like something in my stomach. It's hard for me to swallow, and it's so annoying because I know that these teams are better than the teams that are in the final 8 right now.
Exactly.
And they really are doing it to themselves. It's their mentality.
It's here. It is all in their freaking head.
I don't care like what a lot of people say. I'm not a Juve fan, but you gotta respect what Juve do. Juve have the mentality to continue. If Juve were like the rest, or if the rest of the teams followed Juve's structure, they could have went through. Especially Inter, Fiorentina shot themselves in the foot. Roma, I mean, what's going on? They're better than this.
I completely agree with you. I think that Juventus are the only teams that, no matter what, even when the going gets hard, they still believe. They still have that sense of we're not scared. And I think specifically talking about Roma today, they've got a few players that are at the level that you want to be at if you want to be a competitive team in Europe and there. But there are too many players that are so complacent. I mean, I'm going to call out.
Let's name them right now.
I'm going to call out on the first goal of Lyon. Yes. I mean, Federico Fazio and Manolas. What the hell are you doing?
They were lost on the
Manolas, first of all, is marking a zone, right? Fazio gets completely lost from his man, the guy who scored. I don't remember his name. He had a long name. He scores. But Italian defending, you push this guy, you hold him, you stop him, you do whatever you got to do so that this guy does not score at your home. If this goal does not go in, Roma go through. How can you not? They wait until something happens. Every single team waits until
something bad happens instead of grabbing the balls, grabbing the game by its balls and actually playing. I mean, they have to concede so they can actually attack.
They say, oh, it's okay. You know, nothing's bad. You know, we still just got to score 1 goal later on. Then the other team scores. They're like, oh, guys, what are we going to do?
When it's too late.
They were playing good. Roma were playing good afterwards. You know, they had so many opportunities to score. And that's what happens. I mean, and honestly, if you want to be a competitive European team, El Shaarawy needs to put that ball in the back of the net. Dzeko needs to step up when he gets the opportunity. You need to freaking do it, man. Just freaking do it. Put the ball in the back of the net. Look, I know not every player could be like this, but Francesco Totti, for me, he comes in and he does the right thing. He's got that belief, that calmness to say, guys, don't worry. He sets up a nice pass. I thought it was a great move by Spalletti to put that in. Roma need better players. Period.
And you know,
Period.
The countless long balls that I keep seeing, there was still like a good 4 or 5 minutes at the end, and they kept throwing long balls. Keep the ball on the side, hoping that someone can header it in. Dzeko, another performance, pretty cold. He's on a little bit of a slump. If he doesn't score, he gets a little cold, and he was very quiet.
You need to score when you're cold. That's what a freaking top striker does.
True.
They score when their team is not doing good. They get half an opportunity. They put the ball in the back of the net, and your team advances to the next round instead of fucking
That's how it should have been. Bruno Perez, I was excited for him when he came from Torino. But just in general, his whole performance, he hasn't been the best. He really
makes
hasn't.
a wrong pass and the wrong decision almost every time.
He does make
literally.
He's like a poor man's Salah in that sense. He just runs with the ball, and he's not very good at decision making, and it really costs Roma a lot. A lot of times they're all yelling at him for making the ball go too far or something.
Alisson was an absolute champ tonight.
Did you see a few
he
saves?
saved that goal that is worthy of a goal, stepping up when it was needed.
Nice.
And I think that this is just a big, a frustrating moment because we know the potential that our Italian teams have. We hype them up. You know, we believe in them so much, but sometimes you got to say the truth. We're always so positive. We always say the best, the good thing about this. But listen, we need to be real. See, a pawn for a pawn, and that's it. And say it how it is because it hasn't been good. Some post-match comments I want to read just from Luciano Spalletti. Spalletti says that today they deserve to win, that they took errors from last week and they carried over to tonight. That's why they didn't go through. And he says sometimes, and this is what I really agree with, what I was going to say too, sometimes we are too much, here, it's your ball. Here, this ball's for you. Here, go, you do it. Instead of, no, this is mine. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take control. And I completely relate to that. I feel like so many times when we're just like, what do we do? What do we do? We'll just pass the ball. Sometimes, like Totti, you come in, you take command, you make sure everyone does what they need to do. And he also hit back and he says, everyone wants to tell Spalletti what he needs to do. They're like, oh, you should have played this guy. You should have done this differently. And he says, last week you guys told me that I always need to play Salah. Tonight, Salah should have done much more. What do you have to say about that now?
The thing is, I feel like everyone's going crazy on Spalletti. I don't think Spalletti's really doing anything wrong. People criticize their formation, playing the three-man backline, but they needed a more attacking formation. I think it's really just a player. Spalletti's really fed up with this team.
Yeah.
And remember what he said before, if he doesn't win anything with Roma, he's out of the season. So right now, he's out of the Europa League. It doesn't look like he's winning the Serie A. Is he in the Coppa Italia still?
Yeah.
And he's got one last competition left. We'll see what he does.
We'll see what happens. Nainggolan afterwards, he said, we gave everything we had, and we had the opportunities to score. I think we could say that Roma are a strong team, and we're only one goal away from qualification. We need to take the good from tonight, and move forward. I think it's too much of this. I think it's too much answering around the question, too much, oh, we'll get him next time, instead of, we should have fucking done it.
They're not commanding enough. They don't have that grinta that they're taking. They just accept it almost.
A year to learn from for the rest of the Serie A teams. In Europe, it just simply has not been good enough. And we've seen it, even Genk knocked out Tottenham. Some of these smaller teams, who did Astra, they knocked out someone big. I don't remember who they knocked out. They knocked out someone who's better than them. You can't be scared. You can't be scared. The Italian teams were scared in Europe this season, and that's all that can be said. Hopefully next season,
Atalanta could surprise.
Papu
they're
Gomez
going to Europa League.
Guys, comment below. We want to hear what you think about Roma and the rest of the Italian teams in Europe.
And their mentality.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ragazzi.
Ciao, guys.